Hey again. Well, before I start, can you please confirm my audio is fine? And then we begin the session. And meanwhile, while you guys are out there confirming the audio, the last 2 to 3 days have been super busy because I have been performing, I have been preparing for the big webinar that's coming up tomorrow, which is the High Performance Masterclass webinar. And this webinar, I'm going to be sharing the 6 important secrets that make high performers the way they are, and it's going to be very special for me, and I'm going to give out a lot of giveaways and make a lot of announcements on my upcoming coaching, the group coaching as well as personal coaching. So guys, stay tuned. It's tomorrow night at 10 p.m. So for those of you not registered, go to malkanhpclass.com and register yourself so that you get a link to join the webinar that's going to happen on Zoom tomorrow at 10 p.m. In the meanwhile, if someone can confirm my volume is fine, okay, my voice is okay, which I'll just confirm. So guys, the topic that I want to speak upon today is, as you know, I've spoken multiple times about this high performance habits of all the successful people, which is courage. This courage is something that I've spoken multiple times because on the face of it, you may feel that you're courageous, things are just fine. But what happens eventually is that in your day-to-day actions or in your dealings with people, the thing called courage doesn't show up. It shows from your actions that you're really lacking courage. And one very important aspect of courage that I want to drive light to, and I want to speaking on this session, is the thing of the act of minimizing yourselves down, toning yourselves down. Now, why does this happen? The number one reason is that many of us are not worried that others will judge us as being insufficient. But what we're worried about is that our actions make them feel not good about themselves. That's the number one thing we worry about. And that's the reason which is responsible. This is why it's responsible for the lack of courage that we show in our day-to-day lives. So that is why we're fearful of expressing our whatever true ambitions we have, our joys, our dreams, our desires, because we feel that people around us would feel bad about themselves. We may end up making them feel bad about themselves. And this is huge. We don't want to be doing that to our friends, to our siblings, to a core group of people around us, our community. That's the reason we downplay ourselves. And how do we do that? We minimize ourselves by keeping our big dreams small, by keeping our ideas all bottled up within ourselves and not sharing with them, by dumbing ourselves down every time in every interaction, by toning ourselves down, by not expressing what we really want and what we really are capable to do. We don't stand up to our full potential, and all that is standing in the way is that little fearful part of you who doesn't want to, that little fearful part of you who wants to minimize himself or herself so that you don't make others feel bad. It's as simple as that. Because so many of us, can you relate to this, guys, when I say that so many of us think in those situations that people will be threatened by my drive and by my desire, by me wanting to be and wanting to have so much, so that they may not like my ambitions. And when I express my ambitions, they may not like me, and they might make fun of me, and nobody wants to be made fun of, right? So that's the best. You tell yourself that just be quiet, don't talk anything. It's better to downgrade my ambition and or work some other ways so that I downgrade myself. And this is disastrous, guys. This is really disastrous, because some of you may feel that this is humility, but this is not humility. This is like lying to yourself, lying to your core soul self about your real ambitions. And this is really not fair. It's like you are apologizing for the gifts that God has showered upon you, the universe has showered you with. You're special, you're fortunate, and you are what you are because of all the hard work that you've been doing for so many years, or whatever it is, whatever you feel that you're blessed, whatever you feel could be the reason the way you're blessed you are. But the thing is that you feel that you're lying and underplaying yourself, and that's a huge thing because it's inside you. Come on, guys, you have it in you and you're still not showing up, because fear is one thing which is always going to prevent you from feeling truly authentic and fulfilled and living out your true potential of the great human being, the great soul that you are. And it is this fear that is going to that is going to lower your insights or make you miss out on excellence so many of times. And so don't try to confuse this fear with the feeling of humility, because when you say it's humility, you feel good about yourself, but there's nothing humble in this. It's fear. It's lying. It's like suppression. You're suppressing your real self. And this is something, guys, which is of great, great concern, because it destroys the real aliveness and the authenticity in your relationship. To begin with, first in your relationship with your own self. So it will feel better in the short term. You'll feel good because people will love you for minimizing yourself. But in the long term, nobody, think about it, guys. In the long term, you're being that fake person, and nobody, I repeat, nobody wants to stay with a fake person. Nobody. Think about it. How would you feel if you're in a relationship with someone? Maybe it's a long term, 5, 10 year deep into a relationship with someone, and someone came and told you that, you know what, dash dash, you don't know the real person that I am. You don't know me. If that someone could come and tell you, you don't know the real person that I am, I haven't been honest with you about who I am, because I have been holding back my real dreams from you, because I was scared of you, or because I thought that you were too small minded to handle it. How would you feel, guys? This is huge. This is really huge. How would you feel that? You would feel cheated. You would feel worse about that person. You would feel that you were staying with this fake person for so long. You would hate that person. And think about it, when you're playing the same thing in your relationship. Because it probably leave all your people shocked. It leave them hurt. So if you wouldn't want someone else to do that to you, would you really do that to someone else, is something you need to ask yourself. Because I've seen about, when we go to this research which is published by High Performance Institute, headed by Brendan Busher, there are so many people across the world who have martyred themselves. Literally, they've killed themselves under the guise of the humility, under the guise of this poorly conceived humility that, oh my God, I am humble, I shouldn't be doing this. And that's really bad, because there's nothing humble in saying that I will not shine because all the timid souls around me are not going to be able to handle it. Think about, there's this prayer, for those of you who attended Anybody Can Trade program, the 3-day program that we have for beginners. And in the end of it, we read a very beautiful prayer by Nelson Mandela. It's there right on my vision board. And the first 3 lines, I just read out the first 3 lines of that poem from my vision board. What he says is that our deepest fears, guys, is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. This is huge, guys. We are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. This is really impactful. I find, go and read, go on the internet and read the whole thing. It's really, really powerful. And I find so much power from this whole thing that I've kept a printout on my vision board as well. So this is huge. So don't need any permission, guys. You can start right away. Start speaking up your truth. Start living in full whatever you are. Show yourselves out to people, even though some of them are not going to like you. Even though many people, many of them are going to make fun of you. Some may doubt you, some may leave you, some may break their relationship. Maybe your neighbors will turn up and say that this person is getting much more than this person deserves. Whatever it is, everybody is going to say that. People are going to make fun of you. You are going to have broken relationships. Your neighbors will stare at you. Whatever it is, but this is none of your business, because here I'm asking you to make a choice, and it is a choice between fear and freedom. Fear is when you're holding yourself up, and freedom is when you're going all out, playing all out and not minimizing yourself. Because the fear that you're talking about is leading you to a cage life. You're going into a cage. But the freedom that I'm talking about is leading you to courage. So it's ultimately a choice between fear and freedom. It's ultimately a choice between cage and courage. You need to think about it. What is it that you want to be doing? You want to have a cage life, or you want to have a courageous life? And this is huge, guys. Remind yourself this every single day. This is an important secret of high performers. And this is what I'm going to be doing tomorrow night. I'm going to be sharing more secrets of high performers. What I'm essentially going to be doing is I'll give you a short glimpse of what it's going to be all about. There are 6 pillars to high performance, and I'm going to be sharing each of these pillars and a little nugget into each of them, so that there's going to be some takeaway for all of you from the webinar tomorrow, guys. So it's a request for those who are serious about taking their lives to another level, taking the productivity, clarity, all areas of high performance to another level. Be there in tomorrow's webinar at 10 p.m. Register at malkanhpclass.com, and I'll see you live at 10 p.m. tomorrow. Bye-bye, guys. Have a great night.